Greetings, my fellow hunters, and welcome. Today, we have another anime I'm going to review. Another fresh one, mind you, but this time it takes place in the universe of one of the old big three from the 2000s. And basically, I thought it'd be a good idea to talk about it since it's still fresh and people are watching it. So, today we'll be hunting dragons, a beast I've never hunted before. So, here is Burnthewwitch. And as I always say, my good hunters, let the hunt begin, but let us be far more cautious, for these beasts are grander than anything I've hunted before. The story of Burnthewwitch is basically that it takes place in the real world, but in a reverse world called Unlondon. No, not Unlondon, Reverse London. I get the two confused. I've read too much SCP Wikipedia. But yes, it takes place in a world known as Reverse London, where witches must protect the populace from beings called dark dragons, lest they attempt them to destroy the entire of Reverse London and basically wipe out humanity in that place. So basically it's bog standard, and there is this interesting thing where there's a pact between the witches and dragons. In fact, the witches ride dragons, not what I meant. So where they use those dragons in order to fly, because witches can't fly, instead of using broomsticks, they use dragons. And I'd say it's a low shadow subversion of the whole witch archetype, but I'm not going to even go there as I'm not qualified for that. I'm just a simple hunter. But basically, they must ensure that people who are not known as dragon-clad do not touch dragons, otherwise it breaks the pact and may cause a irreparable breaking of the pact, like I said. So it's basically, they're like police force for dragons, if that's the simplest way I can put it. They're like, imagine police but for dragons. And there is an interesting intrigue of characters and an underplot of some evil dark dragons, which were basically powerful dragons years ago that have suddenly returned. And right now they have to stop them before they destroy all of Reverse London. Bog standard is destroy the evil dragons, because dragons are always evil, it turns out. The story, I feel, is kind of basic. There is an underlying mystery to it, and there was a little surprise twist at the end that I will not spoil, because I feel like for those who have watched it, it's not a surprise, and for those who are deep into the lore of the series, connected to the other one, you probably saw it a mile coming. So I'm not really surprising, especially who the author for this series is. Yep. I won't spoil it for that, but I gotta say, for the characters, it's a mixed bag. Now, this is normally the part where I do a character opening, where I describe how I feel about the characters and all that, but it's a little bit difficult because the cast is also small. There's only like a handful of characters that are worth talking about, and the rest are just either introduced and never brought up again, or if they are brought up again, it's just like a quick little scene, so there's no real character development I can really describe. It's a little difficult for me to say, but I will talk about the three main characters. So basically, we'll start off with Nonishashi. I believe I pronounced that right. Sorry if I butcher that. Japanese is not my first language. Anyway, to Nonishashi. As I said, Nonishashi is the best way I could describe it. She is the Rei of the series. You know what I'm talking about. She is the monotone girl with half-open eyes and a monotone voice that really doesn't say much except something logical. That's the best I can describe No. She is basically a Rei character, and I don't take that lightly. Honestly, I really wish she had more personality because I could go more in depth to her, but because she's, a Rei character, there's not really much to talk about except that she's a Rei character. That, those monotone ones, so yeah, that's as best as I can put it, in my opinion. Maybe she does get character development as the series continues, but as of right now, as the 3 episodes that were publicly released, there have only been basically her monotone. She is a little tactical, mind you, but besides being tactical and being the Null and being the Ayami character, nothing much of note. So, sadly, this is all I can say. However, I can't say much about her partner. Next is Nini Spangol. Spangol. It doesn't get any easier whenever I say it, but either way, Nini Spangol is basically she's the Asuka. Yeah, I'm basically using Evangelion characters to describe them. She's the loud, obnoxious type that's just overconfident in everything, and the sort of character I despise a lot. I don't know why, but I don't like the Asuka archetype. It's annoying, and I didn't even like it when Asuka first did it, so yeah. I get it. It's supposed to be a cute archetype, but my definition of cute isn't that. But again, that's all I can say. Spangol, Nini Spangol, is basically the Asuka archetype. She, the loud, and like I'm repeating myself at this point, but still, I really feel like that doesn't give her any favors because you see, she's a pop idol and she wants to be basically better than everyone else and prove that she's superior. Again, Asuka's complex. Ugh. It doesn't help that I don't like it, but nonetheless, that's all I can say. And finally, we have the klutz of the group. And finally, as I said, the klutz of the group. Balgo Parks. Balgo. I'm sorry, but Balgo Parks is just basically the clown of the group. He was just a human that suddenly became Dragon Clan, and somehow he is now the... oh, I don't know. The group of the two other witches' problems, and as the episodes, he seems to be the center of some issues. And that's just about it. I cannot describe his personality more. He's a klutz, a big klutz, and that's it. Man, this one's a really short one, and that's rare, and I don't ever consider that good when basically one of the main characters is a klutz, and I cannot describe his personality beyond that. What is it sometimes I wonder with shows like this that have simplest characters that make it impossible for me to basically talk about them? Sure, maybe he gets character development later on. I don't know. I'm reviewing the anime. I haven't read the manga. So, yeah, he's just a klutz of the series, as best as I can put it. Now, normally this is the part where I say I like the music or I don't like the music. Well, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow hunters, for the first ever time on my series, I cannot remember a single track. That's right. For my love of music, I cannot remember a single musical track from this anime, and that is never good. Perhaps maybe it's due to the shortness of the episodes that make it a bit difficult for me to remember the music, but then you should compensate that by making music that's actually good to listen to. But it's the sort of music that you put in one ear and then goes out the other. And yeah, I cannot remember for the life of me what single track there was. Like, I can't remember any epic moments, or I can't think of anything memorable. Oh god, that isn't good. Oh, I'm getting a lot of hate for this. Well, I can see the animation looks memorable, because that's the thing you're gonna see most of the time. But anyway, animation. Contradictory to the music, the animation is interesting, I gotta say. It kind of looks like what happens if those watercolor paintings, and they're very, I wouldn't say, how do I describe it? I'm not an art critic, so hence, it's very prickly, if that makes any sense. The animation looks like they're like little prickles coming out of everyone. And I didn't say that's a bad thing. It's unique and it looks great, so I'd say it actually has some qualities to it that I actually don't mind. Sure, it was a little jarring when I first watched it, but I quickly adapted to it, so I'm not complaining much on the animation. It's bright, it's colorful, and it's expressive, and I kind of feel like that's good, and it shows good quality production. So, well, it is done by Studio Color, if I must be English. And I think they did a certain anime a while back. I can't remember which one, though. Who knows? But yes, the animation is fine. Nothing really too much to complain about. Honestly, my hunters, it's difficult for me to say to not or to watch it. I'm sure fans, and I'm gonna stop playing coy, the Bleach fans are gonna have a kick out of this, as it's set in the same universe as Bleach, because this is technically the western branch of the Soul Society. And yes, that's probably a spoiler, but I highly doubt many people care, because they probably watched it and my review is just here for filling in the gaps. But yes, I feel like the fans were already get a kick out of this. I'm not personally a Bleach fan. I watched a few episodes. I did find it interesting, but I swiftly grew bored pretty quickly of its repetitive plots. I'm gonna be saying it, lackluster characters at times. So your miles will vary in this one. I'd say just give it a watch in the first episode, and if you don't feel like you're gonna enjoy it, just watch something else. If I must recommend something with witches in it, Maria the Virgin Witch, or Little Witch Academia. I'm sure those two will be perfectly good substitutes. Sure, there's no dragons of any sort, not at least I can remember, but at least it's somewhat. I think you may enjoy those more than this one. But hey, I'm just a simple hunter giving up a simple opinion. And this was definitely an interesting one. And one more side note: there's this little dog that looks like this, and it somehow turns into this. I probably will have it in future revelations. I haven't watched read the manga, so it might be a twist there. But I'm having a hard time thinking a dragon is a little doggy. Ugh. But that's my pet peeve aside. Anyway, thank you for watching my hunters. If you've gone this far, please leave your comments down below what you think of this series. If I'm wrong, please let me know why. Oh, this will be fun for the Bleach fans. And please like, follow, subscribe, as those always help. And basically follow me on my Twitch, which I do stream occasionally down on, my Twitter, where you can follow me and actually get some of my posts and probably get some discussions. And finally, my Discord, if you wish to join me in my little hunter's dream, as I do enjoy talking to people on there, as it gets to know my community and my fans a lot better. So, my hunters, if you've enjoyed this, thank you very much. And as I always say, may the good blood guide your way.